Hey everyone, it's Trisha. I'm here, well right now I'm in Concord, but I'm doing my internship at CREATE in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I'm here to talk to you guys about the mandated reporting laws in New Hampshire. So that's really exciting. Excuse me. So basically the New Hampshire mandated reporting law is really, it's pretty cut and dry. And basically, so it's RSA 169-C:29. It's clear that any person having reason to suspect that a child has been abused or neglected is required to report suspicion to the Central Intake Unit of the New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families, or DCYF. And then it's their job to take it from there. But it also, so we say persons required to report are basically any physician, surgeon, county medical examiner, psychiatrist, resident, intern, dentist, osteopath, optometrist, chiropractor, psychologist, therapist, registered nurse, hospital personnel engaged in admission, examination, care of treatment or persons, Christian Science practitioner, teacher, school official, school nurse, school counselor, social worker, daycare worker, any other child or foster care worker, law enforcement official, priest, minister, rabbi, or any other person having reason to suspect that a child has been abused or neglected shall report in the same accordance with this chapter. So basically what that's saying is that anybody in New Hampshire who thinks that they're seeing abuse of a child or an adult, or anybody, is required to report it. Pretty cut and dry, pretty easy, very clear. And so mandated reporters of suspected abuse and neglect are afforded the following protection in New Hampshire. So anyone in good faith making a report is immune from liability, civil or criminal. The identity of the reporter and the content of the report are also considered to be confidential. Disclosure may occur if DCYF is court ordered to. You can request to be anonymous, and you may be asked to follow up with your verbal report with a written report within 48 hours. So there's also a couple of definitions that I can go over with you guys. Excuse me. So they're defining an abused child as a child who has been sexually abused, intentionally physically injured, psychologically injured, so that the child exhibits symptoms of emotional problems generally recognized to result from consistent maltreatment or neglect, or physically injured by accidental means. And then the neglected child is a little different. So someone who's been abandoned by his parents, guardian, or custodian, or who's without proper parental care, control, subsistence, education as required by law, or other care or control necessary for physical, mental, or emotional health, and when it's established that his health has suffered or is very likely to suffer from serious impairment, and the deprivation is not due to primarily the lack of financial means of the parents, guardian, or custodian, or whose parents, guardian, or custodian are able to discharge their responsibilities to and for the child because of incarceration, hospitalization, or other physical or mental incapacity. And these kind of fall, that's just really specific about children in general, because it can be kind of hard. Those lines can be a little tricky. But it does qualify for adults with developmental disabilities as well as elders. So that's, like I said, that's basically it for the laws in New Hampshire. They're pretty easy to kind of follow. I know we definitely kind of wanted to go over some other stuff too with those laws. I know I've had to make one report when I was a service coordinator on a young man who was very clearly being abused within his home, but it's very, very hard to prove that when the individuals are the guardians. He was an adult, but he utilized a communication program and his iPad, so he couldn't verbally communicate with us. And it was to the point where his staff needed to hear what the stepfather was saying to him, which was some pretty gruesome stuff, to get him removed from the home. And I had to go to court for that one, actually, because I was the one who called in on it. So that was an interesting experience. And I have to say, I was kind of frightened. We were scared that the dad was going to show up at court. He didn't. And there was a restraining order put on him, but that was a little nerve-wracking because he was kind of a big guy. And we knew that he had guns in the home. So that was a little frightening. But that's been the most of my experience. I've also worked with kids who are in custody, so it's after reports have been made. But that was up in Vermont, and the laws are just a little different there. But it's definitely something I've had a lot of experience with. And I do like that field a lot. But it looks like I'm just about to run out of time. So my question for you guys this week is, how is everyone dealing with transitions? I know I can get into it another time too, but I had a pretty rough transition with a client who was pretty upset about me leaving. So how is everyone dealing with that, and how are you guys kind of working through that on your own as well? All right, have a great week. Bye.